career peaked a few years ago. It was called Game 7 against the Warriors. He took this team to 7 games against the Warriors. Look at this team. This is not a championship team. But Harden did it. So close. One hamstring injury away from the finals. And since then, his career backpedaled. A 6-game conference finals loss the next year, and an early second-round exit this year. So this is how Harden's career is going to end up, right? Well, we thought Westbrook would be a Thunder for life. But we got to see that the NBA surprises us all the time. So today we will be looking at a very important offseason for the Rockets, which already started. Who will replace Mike D'Antoni as a new coach? Should they hire a new GM? What about a complete rebuild? Probably won't happen, but it will be interesting to see them try. Yo guys, how's it going on? And welcome to the Swagger Star YouTube channel. Today I have a really important video for you guys, the Rockets offseason. And today I'm going to be starting a new series called Sunday Offseason. So every Sunday I'll be uploading a video of a team's offseason since we're nearing the offseason. So the next week I might be doing the Mavericks and then the Jazz. Haven't decided, but we're going to keep doing that. And by the way, this is my first channel. I have a second channel. No one really knows about that. But first, please subscribe to this one. That really helps out the channel. And the link to the other one will be in the description below. So please go and sub to that one as well. For that one, I'm going to be uploading only video games. I started it like 2 days ago, so it doesn't have anything on yet. But I'm planning to upload this Friday. So please subscribe to the channel there. And this one, of course. And I'll love you for the rest of your life. And now, let's get into the video. So our off-season videos always start with the basics. Their cap space is $0. But they do have a $5.7 million mid-level exception and a $3.6 million biannual exception and 4 small trade exceptions. Their draft, nothing in the first round, nothing in the second round, and that's their 5th year in a row without anything in the first round. Their needs, coaching and elite offense. And their relative free agents, Jeff Green, Austin Rivers, and D'Antoni is one too, which we'll look at later. And plus, Austin Rivers will probably opt out of his $2.4 million player option. But first, we need to tackle replacing D'Antoni. I know he's a great coach and everything, but he's already told the team that he wants to move on. And I think it's a great decision. He's a great coach and everything, but I want to see someone else try with this roster. It's a weird roster. And Harden, remember when I said Harden's career has peaked? He has, not just as a player, but statistically as well. Under D'Antoni, Harden has an assist title, 3 scoring titles, an MVP, 2 conference finals appearances, but 0 finals appearances. I want to see someone who maximizes Harden to the most in this roster. Some people say Jeff Van Gundy is a suspect. No, this roster is a weird roster. Instead, I would love to see Juwan Howard get this job. The Rockets need someone who they can respect with 2 MVPs on the team. Howard is that. He's a great coach who believes in small ball. He's played with one of the most respected veterans ever in LeBron James, and he comes from the Heat culture. He believes in small ball. He was one of the veterans on the LeBron James' small ball team, which didn't have a traditional center, just like the Rockets today. Right now, he's in the Michigan, and he said he's not pursuing the NBA, but what else is he supposed to say? I think Howard will be a great fit for this Rockets team. And next, the Mori decision. I think the Rockets would be insane to try and fire Robert Mori, because then he'd be out of work for like 2 seconds, and then he'd just be in work again because of how he's turned Houston. Houston isn't really a glamorous city, but they've always been in the race for the title every year. They haven't kept their own top 10 pick since Yao Ming. That is Mori. But still, he is in trouble since the Hong Kong tweet really affected him. I think they would be insane to fire Daryl Morey because he's made such crazy moves. He's traded for Chris Paul. He's traded for James Harden. He's traded for Russell Westbrook. You know, for the past 5 years, people have been looking at the Warriors and they're like, you know what? Screw them. That's a dynasty. You know, we just don't even have to do anything. We're just going to suck until their dynasty is over. But Daryl Morey wasn't like that. He changed to extreme small ball. He traded for tons of superstars. Harden, those people. I really have to respect Daryl Morey on this situation. And even though they've never made a serious run in the playoffs and made the finals, I still respect Daryl Morey, and I think he should not be fired. But you gotta think, what if the Rockets want to blow everything up? First of all, this will not happen. Because as much as it's fun to talk about these stuff, I don't think it's a good idea to do this. It will be under consideration because the roster is going nowhere right now. And their first move would be to trade James Harden to the Raptors for Kyle Lowry, OG Anunoby, and 3 first-round picks. This trade happens and Toronto goes right to the top of Giannis's wish list. And Harden obviously fixes the major problem that Toronto has right now. Offense. Harden fixes that. Toronto still has money to pay Giannis if they replace Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol with minimum contracts. And the Raptors are definitely finals contenders, while the Rockets get one of the best young defenders in the league and 3 picks to build with. The next trade, Russell Westbrook for Julius Randle, Taj Gibson, and Elfrid Payton. This is obviously a salary dump since Russell Westbrook's trade value is awful. He's just a grumpy 31-year-old, but you might be like, oh, he came off knee surgery recovering from COVID. But in reality, he's just a grumpy 31-year-old who just can't win in the playoffs, who makes $131 million in 3 years. No one wants that. The only possible team could be the Knicks, who need a star to lure another star. Now, as fun as all those moves are to talk about, this will not happen. And do you know why? It's because the Rockets have a superstar, which is the most rarest thing in the NBA. You want to know how rare? Let's get an explanation. I mean, the Bucks waited 44 years between Giannis and Kareem. That's a lot. The Rockets have to keep trying with James Harden unless he demands a trade. So before we look at trades and free agency for this team, let's look at what Houston's problem is. And many people are like, oh, they don't have an actual center. It's going to kill their defense. No. They were the best defensive team in the first round this year. That's not their problem. Even the Lakers went small ball because the Rockets dictated their lineup. Their problem is talent. The Lakers were just more talented. I mean, there was no answer from the Rockets for LeBron. Anthony Davis was good, not great, and yet the Lakers still won in 5. The Lakers trapped Harden and dared the other Rockets to shoot. So I think the one trade they should make is LaMarcus Aldridge for Austin Rivers, Daniel House, David Nwaba, Ben McLemore, PJ Tucker, and 1 pick. Of course, PJ Tucker, they need to extend him first, and Austin Rivers needs to pick up his player option, or else the Rockets have to include Robert Covington or Eric Gordon. I'm sure they'll include Covington. And, Aldridge is a great fit for the Rockets. He's a shooting big man. Let's face it, they got rid of Clint Capella because he couldn't shoot. Think about if they double Harden now. Aldridge will dominate. And San Antonio does this for an unrestricted pick and bad contracts, which they need. It's not easy finding a workable trade for this team since they have such weird contracts, like Eric Gordon. No one wants that contract. Russell Westbrook. No one wants that contract. That's why I don't really find many trades for this team, but I guess the only trade I found was this LaMarcus Aldridge one. So comment in the comment section if you think LaMarcus Aldridge on the Rockets is a good idea, or if you think if it's crazy, or if you can find some other workable trade. That would also really help us. But instead of looking at trades, let's take a look at these free agents. First up on our list, Jeremy Grant. This is a skilled small ball player who shoots threes and has defensive power. And he does have chemistry with Russ and he wants to win. But playing him will be difficult, but Denver could agree to a sign-in trade if they had Eric Gordon. Free agent number 2, Demarcus Cousins. We are talking realistic free agents here, and this could happen. Boogie might absolutely be on the Rockets, and they could have him with the biennial exception, so there's a chance they get him and Jeremy Grant. He could be an option when Harden sits or is trapped, whatever. That is a big if, but that is where the Rockets find themselves right now. The Rockets are in a perfect position to rebuild, except for that Russell Westbrook's contract. I think that they do have a legit chance of winning the title if they do make the right moves this offseason. And this offseason is going to be filled with creative moves, creative themes, creative schemes. And with Daryl Mori on the squad, I think that anything happen. I can't wait to see what they'll come up with. Subscribe to the channel, everybody. Please hit the subscribe button. Really helps out the channel. I'll see you guys in our next video. Peace out, boys.
I got in Atlanta, she's just the lean in the family. Credit cards in the scammers, hitting the licks in the van. Legacy.